Well, there's Thug Life, and then there's Laminitis Life. Hello. So I was thinking about some of the content for the video, and I've got a lot of stuff on laminitis, and I guess I haven't. Yes. So I thought I would go ahead and sort of put it all together, because I've got two of them now that are recovering from laminitic episodes. So I'll go ahead and I'll put some links down below the video about laminitis, what it is, and some of the different processes to deal with it. So here are some of the things that my horses get every day in addition to their grain. This is the only reason why they get grain, is so they can get their supplements. So I feed Natural Healthy E, or Healthy. It's come from the same company that does the Hero. The Hero is specifically for a horse that is insulin resistant, which my white horse is. Cielo is insulin resistant. That's why he ended up with laminitis last year and again this year. It had to do with the sugar levels getting too high in his diet. Even though we'd gone out of our way to reduce that impact, it still happened. Healthy E, I give that to both of the horses every day, just regardless. It makes their coats better. It's just an amazing product, so I use that as Natural E. This is our Butte. So currently the boys are getting it's a powder, so they're getting Butte twice a day with their food. Mainly it's an anti-inflammatory. Once they come out of the active phase of the laminitis, the Butte levels will go down. So they were up as high as 2 scoops twice a day. Now they're down to 1 scoop twice a day, and Jalal, my Arabian, has been dropped down to 3/4 of a scoop twice a day, and eventually down to 0. That's the goal. Once they get out of the pain zone. The Succeed, this is for hindgut health. Oftentimes what you'll notice is the way a laminitic horse stands, they're really holding their gut, their belly up, and they're standing in a very compressed. So the hindgut and the gut in general can get out of balance because of that stress from the pain and the hurt of the feet and stuff. So this is something that I put them on because Cielo kept having problems with his gut issues and ulceration, or ulcers. So I started with the ulcer medication, and then I switched him over to Succeed. And Jalal gets this also. He seems to enjoy it, and actually I've noticed that their manure is a different consistency, and they're eating their food really well, and they love it. So it's worth it for me to keep feeding that. This is of no particular interest other than the Johnson & Johnson's baby powder is for the cloud boots. So both of them are wearing cloud boots. So the cloud boots are very important. They offer padding. You can see they have a thick rubber pad that's inside. They have inserts in the boot, and then the boot stays on, and it's designed to stay on for a long period of time. You can see it's specifically for laminitis, founder, navicular lameness issues. So it is designed to stay on for a particular period of time. The problem with the boot is that when you do leave it on for long periods of time, it builds up moisture inside, and you can end up with thrush, which I've also had to deal with. So the baby powder, or some sort of a talc powder or something like that, I sprinkle in the boots every other day, and that keeps the moisture out of the boot, and it helps me get rid of the thrush, so we don't have a thrush buildup. So one of the learning curves that I had to experience having the 2 horses with laminitis. 1 was bad enough, but 2, you have to process twice as much hay. So as you can see here, I have 4 flakes of hay that have already been soaked. And because it's summer, we have a fly issue with any of the wet hay. So what I've learned is that I soak it over here in the muck buckets. You can see they have them all lined up by my tree line. So that way when I'm done with the water, I dump it out, waters my trees, kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I bring over the hay nets here to the tie rail, and I go ahead and I hang them so that they can dry. So they dry outside, and any attractant to the flies is going to be outside the barn. And because it's hot, I have the barn doors closed for the aisleway, and this keeps the majority of the flies out of the barn. The barn is insulated, so that's why I can do that when it's 93 degrees, because it keeps fairly cool. And I've added the shade block on the runouts on either side of the barn. So we have the runouts are with the shade block, and lots of fly measures to keep the flies out of the barn. So anyway, by soaking it and drying it outside, it minimizes the amount of wet that we have in the stalls, and it reduces the amount of flies that are going to be tempted to come into the barn.